choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Starladder I-League Star Series Season 3. We are going into what will be our, second map. Could be the final map if Fnatic are able to win it. And, Epsilon are going on to their map choice of Cash. Now, next map, if we get there, is going to be Mirage, another strong map. Well, for both of these teams, but question is, Harry, do you think we're going to get there?
I mean, based on how Epsilon just played, I don't think it's entirely out of the question for them to be able to bring something to Cash. I mean, you know, their performance on Cobblestone, like you said, closer than you thought. Well, you know, more rounds than you thought you'd be seeing at the end. So, you know, coming into this, not out of the question. Fnatic, though, are going to be, in terms of experience, leaps and bounds ahead of Epsilon. And they are also coming out hurting after just losing Draken to NIP, one of their star players on this lineup. There has somewhat been picked apart kind of left and right. Now we have Jazar filling in, who, you know, has some relatively big boots to fill anyway, formerly coming from the Fnatic Academy after he was switched out there. And then I don't know if he did anything past that until recently signing onto the Epsilon under the trial sort of membership that he's in right now. But yeah, I mean, he has been having a tough time of it, struggling a little bit, I think, to adjust once again. But, you know, can have some strong performances, as we've seen.
It's the Epsilon trial that can last for eternity. That is one thing they're very good at, is just keeping players on trial. I think Barber only just recently got off his trial, which is madness considering how well he's done in this team. But either way, we'll see if he can make an impact. Obviously, I think, so Jayza was replaced by Jay-Z, right? It just, a lot of J's seem to be coming from Sweden. JW, Jay-Z walking, Jayza. We got any more? I'm sure there's probably more. But we'll see if he can fill the boots, make his way onto this Epsilon roster, and continue their growth, because the fact is, I am, like, obviously I'm excited to see Draken at NIP, but I'm also disappointed that he's now left this team, because they have been on the rise for quite a while. I was just waiting to see where their breakout tournament was actually going to be, and a lot of the time, it has to be said, NIP are very good at picking up a player, and then once they get bored of them, they throw them out to dry once again.
Yeah, that's true. You know, we do just kind of see them pick up-and-coming Swedish talent, crush their dreams, and then throw them back out into the wild. But, oh well. Moving. No, I mean, in all fairness, they do sometimes create some fairly nice environments, but I think they just struggle to gel with people who don't fit into their playstyle. But anyway, heading into the pistol round, we can see 3 players over towards B very early on for Epsilon, which is a little bit unusual, a bit of a gamble on their behalf, which could come back to haunt them, as it looks like right now. Fnatic going to be focusing on mid-control. Barbar's here to watch it, and it's going to be tagged down low. The bomb making its way over towards Squeaky, as everyone else with Fnatic now making their way up highway. Freddy B going to be playing this passively as they do go for the retake on the A site. They're more than aware of what is going on, as 4 players now on the A site with a lurk in mid in the form of Flusher, and he's looking to try and wreak some havoc. Barbar doesn't check the angle. That's going to allow Flusher to get one, but Carly is there, quick to trade things back into a 4-on-4 retake.
Yeah, and there isn't actually a kit over on that CT side, so they do have to make their move very, very quickly. You can already see them getting back into the site. Olov is going to connect onto one, but again, quickly traded out by the CT side. Back to a 3-on-3. Dennis going to add another to the death toll, and, well, bringing things back, it's going to be the Fnatic boys finishing things off 1-0. And the pistol round looks all too easy. I do have to say, I really like that double smoke that they threw at the beginning, just to enable them to get out into middle, take a little bit of control. And once they had that highway control, it did just slow down the rotate a little bit, making things more difficult. Now, in terms of this buy-up, not actually going to go that heavy on the Kevlar here, so a little bit of money saved on quite a few players on the Epsilon side of things. So clearly saving, ready for their buy, and hello double nade, goodbye JW.
Yeah, the push though coming in towards this A site as everyone's here all off through the smoke, and with line one and Akali. Dennis already out by the forklift, quick to chime in with one of his owners, and the blink of an eye frag is going to be going all the way at fnatic. Only Rez left alive, 1v4, and while Crim's going to go aggressive, only 12 HP will be going down. Rez going to peek out wide, look to do more damage. Only a Deagle Hang will land some fancy flicks. He's going to make it work, puts it into a 1-on-2. He's 12 HP in a dream, but still, he's going to now fall on back. He's done more than his fair share's worth of damage, costing a lot of money here. The way of fnatic as he loops back round. Now looking to try and peek out once more. Wanting to grab an AKB, but Olafmeister playing up on top of E-Box will be to eliminate him. And no problem, but still two nice crisp 1Ds. The way of Rez, I mean, lots of damage done. The way of fnatic.
Yeah, and really, there shouldn't have been. That's the big thing about that. There shouldn't have been a lot of damage done. They enabled Rez to actually get a couple of kills just by constantly pushing into his position. So, not the best way to play that after plant position, but either way, they're going to get themselves a freebie round here. Flusher not even going to invest into anything. He's just going to have the USP they picked up from the previous round. The rest of the team just waiting to see if he can find anything. Obviously, he has next to nothing to lose. Just over 1,000 currently being held by Mr. Flusher, and well, if they kill him, they don't get anything in return. So he's going to spot all these players. The push in the meantime will just go in over towards the safe site. He'll go down, but they should know that there's going to be maximum one player here.
JW is still in mid, watching out for the boost, and actually he's going to now make his way on over to the side, and he's going to hear all these players running around in the vents, just lets them pass. He's going to try and mop these guys up, lets Freddy B just run amok, and he's going to find one on a Jazar as well. Barbar in through T-spawn. Already got one frag to his name, looking to try and find a little bit more damage done. This is going to be another round going away. Fnatic looking to try and keep as many players alive as possible, but still hunting these guys down. Let's not forget Fnatic are going to be a little bit confident heading into this, and JW goes in for the hot flash, finds one. The trade comes through from Rez. So they are still making it costly once again. Rez going to be 1v3. They're still hunting him, but they don't have SMGs. They're not going to be farming any cash from this for the most part. And Rez looking to fall prey to Crims. Will go down 3-0 to Fnatic, but these two casualties they've faced do mean that they're going to have to rebite quite heavily as a result of having 3 players alive. This time, 2 players in the round before. Their economy not growing as strong as it could be, but they're still going to have a nice bit of money flowing around. JW not going to be buying up the AWP either. Will instead be sticking with the AK. Jazar's going to have an AWP over on the CT side, which does open up the possibility for them to dominate these longer range positions.
Yeah, CT side actually going to go for the mid aggression early on, try and deny a lot of the rotations we've been able to see from Fnatic so far, utilizing mid very effectively in the pistol round. They're actually going to go for a boost. This is not something you see this early into the game most of the time. It's something you throw in a bit later if things are going wrong, so it's unlikely to be expected. Rez also going to be able to deny Crims. There's the peek from Barber, and that's a really nice 2-man advantage. Just 2 successful aggressive pushes working out for the CT side early in this one. However, something we saw quite a lot on the previous map was even if it's a 3 versus 5, Fnatic can easily bring this back.
Yeah, they've slowed things right down now. Gonna look to try and boost the player up to scout out through mid. And well, what we've got is Carly boosted up in vents, the kind of lone player to try and watch the angle. And JW just checked vents, but they don't have a Molotov to try and flush him out. So he could potentially find this frag on a Dennis. Now he's going to be tagged down just a little bit. Dennis going to take the peek. Carly looks to get the hell out of there. 7 HP. Going to be counting his blessings that he's even still alive on the back of that spray. Mid control will go the way of Fnatic for the time being. But Freddy B looking to push in through Z to check mid. Will now be going out for the peek. JW is going to get caught with a nade out, but still lands the shot. Freddy B misses the most opportune of angles and is going to go down. JW, this could be the last guy left alive as Flusher and Dennis both falter. Now he's going to be trying to secure mid control, but as players coming in from behind, got to worry about Carly on that fast rotate in through Z. And J-Dubs looking like he's just going to fall back and save. 18 seconds left. Bomb down over towards Squeaky, and no hope into this round. An AK scavenge, though, does mean a buy up into the next round is going to be possible as Epsilon secure themselves there first.
Yeah, the rest of the team will get the loss bonus. Dennis could even pick up an AWP if that's what they desire in play. And, well, the majority of the other players can still pick up rifles. Flusher will probably be happy with the UMP, as that's something he plays all the time. and they're going to try and just break straight back onto this CT economy. They haven't had a lot of opportunity to actually build up the money themselves. As you can see, a lot of it's being reinvested into utility anyway, and the maximum amount of money they have is 2 grand, which is actually far and above anybody else, and that's in red.
Yeah, already though, 3 players over here towards this A site, no one covering mid, and that's going to allow fnatic just to run amok over in towards middle. They've already got JW to try and peek on out. No one boosted up in vents, but an aggressive peek from Barbar. The pop flash going to come in, but it doesn't hit Dennis, and he's going to capitalize on that. Carly and Barbar both go down. Now there's only 1 player over towards A, and that's going to be Freddy B to try and hold the fort. And he peeks out wide. Dennis going to be on 3 frags now. He's going to be going insane. Rez was desperately trying to regain some lost ground. We're going to find Dennis as a bit of a revenge frag, so his teammates didn't die in vain, but still a bomb site going to go crumbling around them, and Epsilon looking shaky and vulnerable, full on back in towards CT spawn. Rez wanted to try and take some sort of engagement perhaps out towards mid, but it does seem unwavered and unnecessary. Could go down. Jay's able to watch the cross, does find Flush, or at least going to be turning it back into a 3-on-2. JW rooting in through vents to try and deal with these players as they look to retreat. Olaf over on truck, going to go for the peek. Jayzar can't quite connect the shot and now can't re-peek either. They're trying to hold on to what they can, but Fnatic don't want to let them get away with that.
Yeah, this is also a situation for Fnatic where they don't really want to throw away too many players, so we're not going to see the over-aggress from them. Although JW on the flank may be the one to try and find it. Olaf going to try and dual peek at the same time, but he'll go down. The AWP will be lost, and actually JW going to continue his push, but loses his life. So it's beneficial in a sense that obviously now there's no way there can be a rebuy coming in for Epsilon unless they just risk it all, because the chances they're not going to have too much money into the next, which is exactly what they're going to do. But it also means that now if they do lose this round somehow, if something's brought out by Epsilon, it's going to have to be like a flat eco coming out from Fnatic because they lost so many players themselves.
Towards mid, Flush is going to be tagged down low and off the bat. Jayzar here to try and trade things out, but the majority of Fnatic players over towards B. Rez going to be in the corner up close to Burst, with Freddy there as well to try and trade things. But he's going to be eliminated through the smoke by Crims. They've still got to worry about Rez. He's boosted himself up on top of the boxes, just trying to peek over the top of the smoke. I better see these players. And oh, nades out. But JW doesn't check it. All go down. Rez somehow still alive, but overstaying his welcome just a little bit, trying to retreat, and B hops through the smoke. And while he's still alive, living to fight another day towards B, and currently Freddy B putting a hell of a lot of work finding those 2 openers, is going to go down, but leaves it in a 2-on-4, courtesy of Freddy B's UMP. Bomb going to be going on the long rotate on the back of Crims in through T-spawn, but Barbar's boosted on up, takes the engagement, going to spot out Crims with the bomb, and now they know what's going on. The jig is up. The defining factor of that, though, is that Flush is still over towards B, could wreak some havoc, because they think that bomb's rotating over towards A. If Jayzar leaves this position and then allows Flush to push towards that B site, you could see some frags very quickly go the way of Fnatic, and this whole situation be turned on its head yet again.
Crim's actually going to make his way back as well, but the problem is they're still just in such a disadvantage, and there goes the bomb. Dropped. Nothing that Flusher could really do in this sort of scenario. He's got 25 seconds. The bomb is in mid. The chance of him ever getting this back is so slim, and, well, he's just going to look to try and do a little bit of extra damage, but that will be the exact outcome. They lose, and now their economy's screwed.
Yeah, I think, you know, if Epsilon start to build up an economy on their CT side, start to get the ball rolling, that's when you can see them pick the pace up a little bit. Fnatic are going to be force buying down. You can tell that they're confident in this. They're trying to break the economy of Epsilon while it's still vulnerable, keep them down low. But I mean, if they lose this, then they're going to be in the realms of a double eco. So that could be a lot of rounds going the way of Epsilon and actually equalize them back at a 4-4 scoreline, waiting for the pop flash to come in. No aggression in towards A main. It's going to be the right decision, and Jayzar playing the quick rotate up through highway. Spots out the first player, making his way out through Squeaky. The ball's going to deny the rest of the push. Carly on Forklift able to fight in one, but it's Barbar to trade things out. 2-on-4, and that Molotov delaying this push so well. JW still hasn't made his way out through Squeaky, only just going in for the push now. Barbar says no as he peeks out wide from MBK. Flusher going to find himself 1v3. He did get a parting gift on a Jayzar, but spotted by Freddy B. Going to be tagged down low. Barbar to get himself a third, and that push completely and utterly shredded as Fnatic get put through the meat grinder.
Yeah, it should only be one eco for the Fnatic side to get themselves back up high on the board. The aim of this round will just be to try and get themselves a bomb plant. Obviously, with 2,400, it gives them the flat rifles plus maybe a smoke or two, maybe a flashbang with it, but not the utility that they desire to go into the future rounds, and definitely not the AWP. Now, early round scenario, we are going to see them set up towards middle, but already lose the life of one. Quickly traded by Olaf with the Deagle. He's been doing very well with the Deagle thus far in this game, in this series even. And he's going to be looking to try and retrieve that AWP. Obviously, on the other side of things, they try their best to deny it, but he will have that weapon in hand to try and cause some havoc.
Oh, Flash is going to dispatch of Carly as well. That's going to be an AK, or an M4, sorry, scavenged. But decided fnatic. They're quickly mounting a little arsenal of weapons. Barbar's over here towards Highway. Now going to be jumping up on top of... I thought he was going to go up on top of the E-box to try and spot over the top of the smoke, but instead rotates down towards middle. Does deal with Crims as he puts it back into a 3-on-3, but still they're out on this A site, going to be pushing on in. They don't have much to play around with, nothing in the way of armor, but still Flusher, regardless, naked, finds that frag. Down goes Barbar as well, and now it's all on res, 1v3, and this round may as well just slipped through their fingers. Rez got to try and do the most ultimate of clutches here if he wants to try and go for this, and that's even if he does. And already as he looks to fall on back, it looks like they will just concede this round. Olaf going to go for the peek, but his shoulder, his elbow actually just going to peek out around the corner, giving him away. Rez desperately trying to cling onto the AK. An AWP and an AK scavenge for the side of fnatic, and the round puts them in a great place economically.
Yeah, and what you have to comment on what just happened there. That was a Deagle and a P250 invested for the Swedish side, or the full Swedish side. There you go. I can say it that way because Kalle is not from Sweden. But, yeah, they just managed to win with next to nothing in play. And that was, it has to be said, a bit of an atrocious round from Epsilon. Never should be losing. That shouldn't be re-peaking when it's a 4 versus 4 and your weaponry is far and above better than your opponent. And they've just thrown that one away. They're going to have to try and do exactly back onto their opponent. This time they do have a bit more invested, but if they lose this round, they're only going to have the 1900 loss bonus to comfort them.
And JW finding the early frag out on a Barbar. Someone who's been a very key player for the side of Epsilon is going to be hard felt. Freddy B going to be picking up the AWP. Now looking to make his way over towards that B site where they did lose the support of him early on as a result of having to rotate out, grabbing the AWP, now making his way over here. Trying to spot something out early on, but just going to be playing over towards heaven. Doesn't want to be going for the peak just yet, but actually is going to go for it. Flusher's going to be here, but he might be able to find an equalizing frag. Flusher will go down, 4-on-4. Bomb over towards this A site, and Jayzar going to be boosted up on top of the Shroud boost. And well, Dennis and JW, they've got to check this angle. He spots out Dennis, and down he goes, but now that JW to try and refrag. The pop flash does commit it. JW just staring at it. He does spot the leg of Jayzar. Jayzar's still alive, though, limping around. It's going to be taking a shot right to the Glock, and, well, will be jumping down. That might be a bit high. Oh, now he's only 6 HP. Don't like this. Him and Rez, 9 HP between them on this A site. Crimson Olaf, though, not looking too healthy either. Look at this monumental flanks, though, from Olaf. All the way down on B. Coming up from behind, he's cleared out the site. Bomber's going to be rotating back, and whilst, you know, there is still the potential for them to retake, Freddy B coming on in isn't going to anticipate Olaf Meister being in the back lines, and as he tries to scoot up in through heaven, Olaf going to be in a great place to try and deny this. He will hear the scope come in, and then Olaf can just sneak on up behind him to open up this B-bomb site.
Will go out. He's still going to be trying to hold on to the cross. Olaf will know his exact position, and there's no way he would know that he's right there. Horrible kill to have, but Jay will be able to trade things back. Look at their health, 9 HP between them. JW, the healthiest by a country mile at the moment. And will the remaining players even want to challenge this? Obviously, the 2 versus 2 does give them hope, but they don't have any utility to get back into the site. All they have is the weapons that they currently hold, and you have to remember, going into the next round, they have next to nothing to play with. Otherwise, maybe just having an AWP and an AK will be enough to try and fight back. And to be honest, the way these rounds have been going, I wouldn't be overly surprised. They nearly managed to do it in this round when they have multiple pistols in play.
So fnatic to pick themselves up as 6th, and only JW actually just 5 there with the AWP does mean that they still have to fill the divide, start to build up their economy now on the T side. That's where things are going to start to become an issue now. They have only survived with 3 out of a possible 10 players over the last 2 rounds, but they've done so much damage to the economy of Epsilon. And now going for the force here up behind the AWP, and the AK could be that nail in the coffin for their economy over on the CT side. Losing this could then net Fnatic a potential 8 rounds. And their chance to expand the economy. They have to maintain high damage. Barbar going to get spotted early on, but Rez is there to help him out. Freddy be able to get one on this aggressive play. Dennis going to be tagged out extremely low, and Rez desperately trying to refrag. That's going to be bombed down over towards A main, and this is huge. JW, it's pivotal that he picks this frag up. The Molotov going to force them back. Rez shouldn't have to take this peek, and he won't. Barbar going to smoke it off. They secure the bomb. JW and Flusher, the last 2 left alive. The deadly, dynamic duo of Fnatic. And oh, Flusher, what are you doing? Okay, Rez is going to be tagged down low. Flusher really trying to make this work. I was really hoping he was going to get that, but no, it is going to be a 2-on-3. Bomb down in A main. JW desperately trying to open this up, but the utility on Epsilon just going to be enough to hold back Fnatic for so long. And even then, they should just be able to trade this out. I mean, Jazar's got himself a smoke and an incendiary, but he's playing this very, very passively. Actually, they've left all of this on Rez to hold off in A main. No one even really there to trade. Barbar can quickly try to duck on in, but even then, now as the peak comes out, if Rez goes down, things get very dangerous very quickly. That Molotov finally going to come in from Jazar to hold things back. He goes aggressive, peeks out onto one. JW is going to try and land the refrag, but he can't quite connect it. 1v3. Well, daily time, more utility usage. JW just going to try and force the issue, and Rez will punish him for that. 4-6 as Epsilon, they managed to find themselves another round.
Yeah, it's, again, a very scrappy round one where the bomb gets dropped in a horrible position for Fnatic, and, well, no surprise to see they're going to invest again themselves. This game, well, I think scrappy is the best way to define it. The double AWP setup will be picked up for the CT side. Rez and Jazar with it in hand. But honestly, to say who's going to come out on top at this point, it's going to be very, very difficult. JW in middle, being eyed up. Attempting to find the kill with the Deagle, but Jazar will take him down. The rest of his team, or at least 3 of them, are going to be pushing towards Squeaky, attempting to get this bomb down. And they will actually get the first kill as well, but Jazar again able to trade up until Dennis pushes out.
Barbar going to be quick on this site. Able to dispatch of Dennis, but bomb's still going to go down. It is Flusher on the flank that I'm worried about. Rez about to peek on out. Freddy's there as well, and they both go down. And oh no, this is where things get so bad. Flusher, one man with a tech and a dream, able to try and turn this right around. Barbar now going to find himself 1v2. Flusher going to be taking the long rotate to rejoin his teammate Crims on the site. And down goes Barbar. That's going to be Fnatic to find themselves their 7th. A fantastic lurk play in mid from Flusher.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. I'm a bit confused with what happened with Barbar at the end, because he spots Crims jump into that position, and then when he crosses back over, he doesn't actually check it properly. It's a really weird way to play. Obviously, still neither team actually settling this at the moment, still backwards and forwards all the way. And of course, we're going to see another investment from Epsilon. It seems like whoever loses this one may actually be the one to lose the half, because it's just so backwards, or loses the force by war at least. Barbar, very aggressive into middle. This time, JW going to give the man advantage over to the team with the better buy, meaning they can slow things right down. They have been caught out by this aggression so far, and never mind. Freddy is there, picks up 2 once again with this UMP, switches over to the AK. There is still 1 player over towards the safe side. All he really needs to do is trade, get 1 kill. And this is already effective. JW as well is very, very low. And this is where Kelly peeks. He goes down to Dennis. Not quite enough achieved. Needed more from him. Dennis looking to take this round by storm as he picks up 2 more. And this is all down to Rez and Freddy once again. Freddy already has 2 kills in this round.
Yeah, Rez going to be on high weight. There's a smoke down to die and peeking out just yet. There's a little bit of a gap in it, but that's going to benefit JW as it does allow him just to spot on through the left-hand side. And oh, down goes Freddy B. It's all on Rez. A man in a dream. And while he peeks on out, it does spot JW. He can't quite connect the shot. And oh, just going to walk into the bullets. Tied in the existential crisis that is his existence and pondering what could lay in the afterlife. Walks into the stream of Galil rounds and forfeits that round. 4-8. Fnatic find themselves 4 rounds ahead, and they win out the Force by War, as you dubbed it, Tom. And now it's going to be Epsilon on the Eco.
Yeah, and now this is where Fnatic really can extend their lead, and they know it. They picked up 2 MAC-10s. They know that that was the end of it. No way that Epsilon were going to try and just invest into purely pistols once more when there's no chance for a reset. However, JW still going to get caught. Early aggression from him not working out. I think that's actually one of the rifles as well, interestingly. Luckily, Flusher is there to clean things up, make some money for himself. And, well, say goodbye, Rez. Triple kill for him. 9-4 to fnatic. And there will be a buy now back on Epsilon.
Yeah, they need to try and erect a bit of a barrier now to the side of fnatic. I mean, we saw in the Force by War, as it was, the Force by War of 06, that, you know, these guys very back and forth at one stage. But since then, in these latter couple of rounds, 5 out of the last 6 rounds have gone the way of fnatic. And Epsilon have to try and find themselves stringing together these last 2. I mean, they could still upset the economy a little bit. Crims and JW a little bit low on funds, but everyone else does kind of make up for that. On the side of fnatic into this round, though, we can see Jazar going to be forcing the issue out towards mid. Rez can be taking some aggression over towards B as well, out through checkers. And actually, fnatic now doubling on back, making their way over towards middle. Looking to push on through. Jazar playing over towards sandbags. All it takes is one Molotov to force him out, and Crims is going to be the man to try and do that. But flusha peeks wide. No, down he goes. Crims, meanwhile, dispatches of Carly in through Squeaky. On this side, JW going to be able to trade out in mid, and all of a sudden this round looking like it could get the way fnatic. They've made their way out towards A as Olaf just sneaks on out, sneaky beaky, like takes down Freddy B. There's a player up on rafters as well in the form of Barber, and somehow Olaf doesn't spot him yet. He tries to capitalize.
No.
Crims with the flick, down goes Barber. Now it's all on Rez. 1v4. He's trying. No, he's not.
Yeah, that is ridiculous from Crims, just able to snap onto the head of Barber and clean him out. Looking like they may even be able to win this half just as dominantly as they did the last one, and considering that this has been even more backwards and forwards, could have evened out in a completely different way with Epsilon having the lead, in fact. This is quite a tragic way to actually look to end this half. fnatic, again, come out on top in a lot of these clutch scenarios. And because of that, we're going to see them with a chance to now take the half 11-4.
Already, Rez is down. Barber looking to try and force the issue out through mid, and Freddy's got aggressive. Will net him 1 frag on a JW, but the bomb is nearby, going to be picked up by Olaf, who is tagged down low. They also leave a curious flusher on the flank over towards Ice Cream, just watching for the push out through mid. Backed up now by Olaf, who is tagged down low and does have the bomb in hand, which could be dangerous, but no one flushes around, dedicating his life and the one taps to protect that bomb. Does find Barber. Now it's a 3-on-4 in the push. About to come in towards this A site. Only 2 players here to try and take the full brunt of that. And actually, Jay's not going to be hiding in the smoke. I think he's peeking out of it just a little bit. It's going to be safe for the time being, but his foot dangerously close to peeking on through. And actually a player towards MBK. Carly will go down. Jayzar isn't in a great position to try and trade it. It's going to emerge from the smoke. Am I going to catch Dennis? But nope, Dennis says no. And now it's all on Freddy B. 1v4. Got to try and do the most monumental of clutches, aces, and only with a UMP in his pocket. Bomb's going to go down. Does not have a kit to play around with. And Crims posted up on truck to try and eliminate him.
Yeah, the whole team are just going to be looking to end this as soon as possible. And flusha, 1 bullet is all that's needed. 11-4 half for fnatic. Looks far more dominating than reality would suggest when watching the game. I do have to question a few things as well, like how on earth Freddy B manages to go aggressive over towards B that many times and get that many kills with the UMP. It seemed to happen way too often, but it doesn't matter. 11-4, going on to their CT half pistol, and fnatic, if they win this, I have to fear that the game is probably done.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue, right? fnatic, if they pick up the pistol, they're going to find it very easy to take this to a 14-4 scoreline. Then they're going to be 10 rounds ahead. And let's not forget, this is their map pick. So Epsilon have to try and be very, very keen into this pistol round. It looks like their strategy of choice is to boost 3 players up in mid to create a bit of a conga line of death ready to emerge. And well, the peek's going to come on through. Flushes here, though, with a USP in hand. Isn't going to be able to find anything just yet. Will be tagged a little bit and actually relinquishes control of mid up to the side of Epsilon. And Freddy B, meanwhile, over towards that B site, dispatches of Olaf. And oh, down goes Dennis from a nice pick from Barber. It's all on Crims on this B site to hold things off. 1v5, the push coming on in. Going to be tagged down low instantaneously on the back of that peak. So many players left to find as they make their way over towards Headshot. Does get 1 before Carly trades. 2v4 for the retake. Bomb's going to be going down with flusha and JW on the rotate.
Yeah, a hell of a lot for them to do and not a lot of time to do it. They don't have a kit. They've got to try and get themselves out onto this site. Mistakes need to be made. flusha is going to be sneaking, looking for this kill onto Calais. And will just about get away with it. That's a fadeaway shot and a half from flusha. Able to get himself a second, but it will be finished off. Barber gets himself the triple in the end. But it's still going to be a force up coming in for fnatic. They're going to attempt to take this back. And, well, we've already seen them win plenty of Force Buy in this match so far, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them do it again.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they've won out so many of these Force Buys. Just back and forth is usually what we see. This time, Epsilon can't afford to let that happen once again. Already out towards mid. Flusher going to be holding this on his own. Does have a CZ, which is probably the least favored gun you'd want in this situation, unless it's on Flusher, in which case it's a pocket AWP that fires multiple bullets. And, well, we are going to be seeing two players over towards this A site. Right now, Epsilon just looking to take things slowly, and it's a nice change of pace. Usually we see them die at a couple of unnecessary peaks, or perhaps aggression coming out from Fnatic. This time, not going to let that be the case, as they slow things right down and watch all these avenues for pushes. You can see you got Rez over towards Squeaky, Barbar to watch the flank in from that B side. Now, Olofmeister's going to get boosted up. Freddy B is going to check vents, and will tag him down. So already, Olof, a mere 46 HP.
Minute left on the clock. The T's still just playing this default style, waiting for any sort of aggression. And, well, Barber will be able to capitalize as he takes down the first. JW then, as he tries to react to this, loses his life as well. And it has to be said, this is a very safe round coming out from Epsilon. They've bought up 3 rifles, a couple of SMGs to try and make them some cash, but basically, they know that there's going to be some sort of aggression coming out from the Fnatic side, so they've just waited for it. And now, as their reward, they're actually going to have themselves a free B site to plant on, meaning that really all it means is Rez will just have to be a little bit careful with the players coming round from behind him.
Yeah, now the key thing for Epsilon here is to try and keep 5 alive. That's going to ensure them to maintain a strong economy at least. And actually, as Freddy B goes to take this peak, could find himself at the mercy of Dennis and his Deagle. Over towards mid. Flusher trying to spot out these opportune frag onto Rez, who's going to be tagged down low. Barbar desperately trying to come round to try and ensure that Flusher can't do exactly that. Will peek on out, and a great play to keep Rez alive, because he does get tagged down on a mere 10 HP. Dennis and Crims both going to be saving out towards Squeaky. They're going to employ the boost, as they do manage to forge a leaning rickety tower of death over here towards this B site. They boost up Crimson to the corner. Dennis now peeking on out. Can they be going for the bait and switch? The whole idea is if Dennis does spot anyone, he can fire off a couple of rounds, fall on back into the corner, and then as they round the corner into Squeaky, him and Crims, then they can pounce. But ultimately, no one going to peek them. That's going to be a 6-11 scoreline now, as Epsilon do convert that second round and keep 5 players alive.
Yeah, looking pretty similar to what we saw in the previous map as well, as Epsilon should be able to convert this one. Obviously, able to keep the pistols in play for this round. A couple of Deegs to try and do some extra damage. Next round, 2,400 added in. No AWP will be in play. They'll just be on the flat rifles, and that'll be the buy in the next. Now, early aggression is going to come in from the T's, trying to take control of A main. They've done just that, and now going to use their utility to push back into this side. Now, there's already 3 players here. Make it a 4th rotating in. It's a little bit risky, but 1 Deeg down. And Freddy actually going to get both entries onto the site. JW trying to do a little bit of damage, but Freddy B is here to play. And actually, Kala going to get one with the Glock.
Yeah, it's going to be Crims on track 1v5. Can't get too much done here. And that's going to be phenomenal here for Epsilon. As long as they do keep 5 alive, that's going to be a hell of a lot of money for them to kickstart their T-side half. A 7-11 scoreline as they look to try and pull this one back. Fnatic finally with enough money to buy on down. Won't have the AWP on JW. Instead, it does just look like it's going to be M4s across the board, with the exception of Flusher, who's going to relegate himself down to the UMP to buy up the extra utility, and because he was fairly short on money as a result of the previous round. So Jzart will have the AWP, similar to what we saw in the first half. An AWP for the side of Epsilon. Fnatic looking to go without.
Yeah, once again, playing relatively passively. Freddy is going to go for a little bit of aggression. He has looked good so far in this game, especially this T side, getting those entry frags for his team. Fairly default strategy from the CT side. 1 aggressive in mid will be Flusher, and then a little bit of a boost being brought into play from this CT side. They're going to be waiting with Crims, and well, they're actually going to go for the rotate very quickly as the pushes in the meantime come in. They've lost every single player over towards this A site, and looking to just shut this down as quickly as possible. Only a couple of players remaining. Barber just ending lives, and he gets the triple. No save for Fnatic. Every player lost, and they're just falling back to pistols after a quick round from Epsilon.
And this is where things get worrying for Fnatic, right? I mean, Epsilon now only 3 rounds behind. This is closer than we saw Cobblestone look. Despite what looked initially like a very one-sided start for the side of Fnatic, quickly becoming a hell of a lot closer. And with the money building up on the side of Epsilon, that's going to be their real issue. Flusher! Trying to line that shot up in through the spamble door, and Freddy is going to be tagged just a little bit. I was hoping we would have seen the newest vac shot come through, but not going to be the case. And well, JW tries to force some aggression into A main, has to fall on back and just relinquish control of that up to Jazar. For the time being, though, once again, Epsilon, they know that the economy of Fnatic is going to be low. They know it's going to be a bit of a force fight. And that's why they're just holding these angles, waiting to see the aggression come through from Fnatic. And they've done a great job learning how Fnatic were able to pull back so many anti-eco rounds in the previous map and in the early stages of this one. As now they're just locking down these angles, not allowing Fnatic to go for any of these mega ballsy plays.
Yeah, now they are looking to take over mid control as well. Freddy will be the one to push out, spots Olaf. Dennis is in Z as well with his trusty dig in play. He's going to be looking to try and find Freddy. Can't quite connect as they get smoked out of position. Now there's already 4 players again over towards this A side, so it could be a good opportunity, but the problem is the split is just going to deny any chance for a crossfire from the CT side. Every single player shut down. Barber again just cleaning things up, and well, Crims is left wandering over the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, you know, this is why things can get a little bit risky for Fnatic. They will have enough money to buy up next round. It'll be 11-9 though, 2 rounds the difference between them and Epsilon, and even if they string together a couple of rounds, it's going to take at least 2 or 3 in a row, eliminating everyone on the side of Epsilon if they want to completely ruin that economy. And even by then, the match loss bonus is going to be starting to be taken into effect by the side of Epsilon, meaning, you know, they're not going for any sort of double op setup. I'd say it's going to take, what, about two rounds of killing all 5 players. So any rifle saved could allow a force buy. Even on the back of 2 losses, and while they keep 5 alive once again, Crim's unable to do any damage there. 11-9 scoreline, 2 rounds of difference between Epsilon and Fnatic as they look to pull things back in their T side. They've taken 5 consecutively. Fnatic finally able to buy on down on their CT side with an AWP. Double AWP setup, actually, as a matter of fact. JW and Olaf looking to pick them up.
Yeah, a big change coming up for this CT side setup. It is only the second buy they've had, and it's completely different to what we saw previously. Expected to see some aggressive peaks coming out from these orbs already over towards B. We'll see that. And while JW playing back towards quad, a bit more of a passive position, but just hoping that somebody will walk into his crosshair. So far, not going to be happening. We are going to have the T side once again waiting for any sort of aggression from this CT side. And they haven't really gone for anything too crazy, just initial peaks like Olaf over here on B, just attempting to try and find something early on, but they're not going for it. They're not giving away any of these picks, and that was one way that was quite easy in a way for Fnatic to work things over on the previous map, where they could just find those entry kills. Instead, they're going to smoke him off. He's going to try and re-peek, but the nades are just being used very, very well, and they'll have to fall back to the site over on B.
Yeah, Crimson Olaf over towards this B site, the dynamic duo trying to hold this down as Barbar and Freddy B going to be trying to execute on out. You got 3 players in mid. It looks like it's going to be a B split as now they make their way on out. Flusher is to try and find something. They have got the AWP over towards middle and can try and hold this back. And Olaf just walking into the waiting arms of Freddy B. Down he goes. And actually, Crim's going to get caught rotating off the B site. They must have thought it was going to be an A execute, and now Epsilon pouring in towards B. Flush is going to go huge, but he doesn't find anything. Carly, quick to take him down. Crim's through the smoke, going to connect a whole bunch of damage out of Carly in return, but it's still a 3-on-5 for the retake. Epsilon, full control of the site. Plenty of utility to try and hold this back just for a while, at least. On the side of Fnatic, they have a good bit as well. Crim's able to find one in a res, and it was looking like they were going to go for the save, but now Crim's looking a little bit interested, makes his way towards mid. He's not going to anticipate Jazar there, though, and down he falls. Dennis and JW falling back to try and save. Out comes Barbar with the peak, drops out one. JW going to be the last alive with the AWP in hand, trying to hold on to it desperately in the next round, but Jazar spots him, and down he goes. A 10-11 scoreline. Epsilon clawing this one back in their T-side half, currently 6-0, undefeated right now.
Yeah, and the amount of money that they have is absolute insanity as well. Almost every player around that 10k margin, which should never be the case. They're not really losing many players whatsoever. In fact, the last round was where they've had their most rebuys in, well, apart from the pistol, in this whole half. They've had either 4 or 5 players surviving for about 4 rounds straight, which, again, it should never happen. Even versus pistols, we don't see that very often. So, very scary stuff at the moment. This Epsilon side looking very strong. Olaf is going to push through, just about takes down Jazer, and will at least even things up overall. But yeah, Fnatic just looking very, very lackluster on their CT side so far, and props have to be given over to the T side. They've looked incredible.
Yeah, now once again waiting for the aggression over towards B. Carly is posted up in Toxic, going to be throwing out the Molotov to hold it back for the time being. There are 2 players here with the crossfire set up. That's going to be Crimson Flush. Yeah, but down goes Crims. Flush is going to be here and out, falling on back to the site along with Dennis. You can see that JW trying to go aggressive towards A main, could potentially catch Rez off guard, and he's got the bomb, so definitely would be a big win on their behalf if that were to be the case. He's going to pick it up. Down goes Dennis, and that's going to be the B site torn in half. JW, the last man left alive for the site of Fnatic, making his way up through A main, looking to try and catch someone on the lurk, but it looks like we've got Carly watching it with the AWP, so JW should get dealt with swiftly on this peak. Oh, no, going to bypass it. Makes his way in through mid instead, but might just opt to hold on to the armor here.
Yeah, well, going into the next round, they are going to have the loss bonus behind them, but yeah, every little helps, I suppose. Maybe able to get some extra nades behind the AWP if that's what he's going to invest into. Can still afford it anyway, but really, it looks like he's just hoping for an exit, and I'm going to have to go off of his screen because it looks like JW's just sort of memeing at the moment, spinning around. Will actually look for the kill, and he's going to lose his life anyway. As said, they're going to be able to afford anything they want into the next round, but it may not matter because the fact is they haven't had any impact in the majority of the rounds they've had. They've gone for gambles, they've tried to work out what Epsilon are doing, and almost every single time they've been wrong.
The pause going to be called in. And I mean, is it a tactical or is it a technical? Do you think Epsilon realize? No, okay, it's team speak. Never mind. Let's not start, thinking too heavily. But I mean, they've had a very, very strong T side, like ridiculously strong. When you look at it, right? If you could quickly bring up the scoreboard, actually, and just stand in awe at how impressive this is. For the first you see after that second round for them, for the consecutive 3. Well, so for the consecutive 2, sorry, they keep 5 players alive, then 4, then 5 again, then down to 3, but then 4 in the last. So they've had, like, in most of these rounds, 4 players minimum surviving, but for the most part, it's going to be 5. So money is plentiful over on the T side. Epsilon just rolling in money. Freddie B nearly on 16,000. He just had to rebuy a little bit of utility. Carly in the same boat. Also bought up a Deagle to play around with. Money is just not a problem now for Epsilon, and Fnatic urgently need to have some sort of comeback here, or else they're going to be at a huge disadvantage, because if they lose this, they're reset again, and even if they pick it up, what's it going to do to the overflowing bank accounts of Epsilon?
Yeah, this is going to have to be the change, really. They've got to win so many rounds in a row to actually reset that T economy that even if they do, the loss bonus will have built up by the time it gets reset, so it's going to be so difficult for Fnatic from here on out. They put themselves into a hole, but if any team can dig themselves out of it, it is going to be this one. Aggressive push. They've taken over A main. That's the change. Dennis on the AWP rather than JW. Bomb will be retrieved by the T side, and something that we haven't had to say too often in this matchup, or at least on this side of it, Fnatic have the man advantage.
Yeah, but Freddie B has been able to sneak his way out through mid. They've gained some control of the map, despite losing a man early on. And, well, Freddie could try and capitalize on this. He's got to watch out for Flusher, who's looking like he might try and take this peak. They know that mid has been left open. So the guys on A are going to be suspecting of some sort of play potentially out through there. Smoke's going to go down and block off Highway for the time being, but Z's also been smoked off in retort. JW can be able to find one out of Barbar, looking for a second, but Jay's are going to go aggressively out with the open hand. Does spot Dennis on the site. Flush is going to fall. Oh, a nice peek from Jayzar. And now it's Dennis on the site with the open hand. Molotov's will be raining on him. Things get a little bit too toasty, but he does find one before he goes down. And now it's Olaf to watch the cross. This round looking to be very competitive, and Freddie going to be raining in some bullets and will get taken down actually on that initial peak from Olaf. Now it's Crims to push into the site. He falters. Rez finds a third. And he's going to be on the hat trick. Olaf versus Rez, 1v1, and Olaf A mere 21 HP, but taking the peak with the AWP could be in a great place to try and find this frag. Rez goes wide and takes him down. 4 frags there for Rez. 12-11 as Epsilon take the lead on Cash.
What is going on? It's almost like Epsilon are the all-star team at this point. They are just out-fragging Fnatic. That's not the way that this is supposed to be going down. The sort of freestyle of players working wonderfully for them. And Rez and Barber are looking absolutely incredible at the moment. 24 kills, 21 kills, and nothing in sight. At least that round was close, I suppose. That's the best round by far for the Fnatic side over on the CT side of this map. But there's still 8 rounds in a row for Epsilon. And we're back to pistols again. It should, realistically, be 9.
Yeah, now Flush has gone aggressively towards mid. He hasn't done this yet. He's going to be playing aggressively on the left-hand side out there, but there are still 2 players within an earshot to try and trade this out. Olaf and Crims looking like they want to go aggressive, but look at Jayzar. He's just posted up, ready to go hunting over towards that B side. Flush only spots out Barbar. Does get caught with a flash out, but now the trade could come through as Freddy B rotates around. Jayzar, sorry, actually rotating on out. Just at the wrong time. Flash goes out towards mid, and Flush are going to bite the dust. Down he goes, and Jayzar quick on the frag on Crims as he tries to force the issue in and over towards B, leaving Olaf Meister here alone. You've also got Rez all the way up towards Squeaky, waiting for any aggression out through A. Hasn't been able to hear anything, and that's because JW snuck all the way up. They've got to watch out for this as he comes in from behind with the deagle in hand. Freddy's about to get a full face of JW, and it's not delicious. It's terrible. JW going to be on 2, and the third coming in. JW, what are you doing? It's all on Rez. 1v3. Thanks to an amazing play on the back of the Swedish legend, JW.
Yeah, the big play that was needed. Maybe this could be the kickstarter to the motor that is Fnatic. Obviously, not a lot of time. He's got to make this move. There's no point saving at this point in time for the T's, as they have got so much money. Olaf is just going to spot this out. Now, there wasn't really much reason to challenge that because there is no time on the clock. And every bit of damage is going to be so valuable for Epsilon in this scenario. There's no way Dennis can lose. The problem is, they are going to have the buy-up in the next round, but they lose that one, and we could be seeing the end of the game. It will be the reset.
Yeah, Epsilon going to have everything they need once again. Thanks to having such a strong economy, Fnatic will be buying on down. They did manage to maintain something out of that previous round as well. But it is going to be the equalizer, 12-12, as Fnatic do manage to find that previous, thanks to the play on behalf of JW. And now it's going to be Epsilon looking to try and grab mid control early on. Jayzar going to be boosted up. And actually, Flush are taking things very lax. He'll be playing the rotate on through highway, so he can watch mid and the A site rotate swiftly between the two. The only issue is that smoke there going to isolate him. Forces him back, and now he has to play truck so he can rotate in between Z when that smoke does eventually fade. Epsilon, they're looking like a bit of a ruse as they throw down all the smokes for A, now making their way over towards B, but they've read this perfectly. JW going to be going on the flank once again, and thanks to all the information he's got, it's allowed to rotate in towards B. 3 players here with a 4th rotating round, and this could be very bad for Epsilon as they walk into a bit of a stack. Down goes Carly, the trade comes through. Crim's able to get one more, though. As it turns into a 3-on-4, they're trying to make their way towards this B side, but the rotate's already thick and fast, and while Flusher doesn't quite get tagged on the cross, Crim's still alive on the site, waiting for a flash that's never going to arrive. Now going to be turning his attention back in towards the site. Jayzar trying to lock down CT, generally finds another, but Jayzar quick on the scope. It's going to fall at the hands of Flusher. It's actually all on Barbar, and he goes down on the flanking JW. 12-13. Fnatic retake the lead, but the money still going strong for Epsilon.
Yeah, they were a little bit unlucky in that scenario as well, as they did have a player waiting on the flank right towards the end. But the problem is, because JW went the long way round, it meant that nobody else was watching the flank. There was no reason to. Okay, we have a player waiting. Why would we watch the flank? Well, in fact, they lose their lives because of it. Now, once again, buy back in. Still no problems yet for the economy of Epsilon. Really showing how incredibly good their economy have been throughout this half after winning 8 rounds in a row consistently. But with 2 for Fnatic, they only need 3 more, and they will close out this game.
Now Flush is still playing over towards highway. He's been playing the same rotate role between mid and highway to help out on a moment's notice. Hasn't really been utilized too much. And now we can see he falls on back to hold Z, waiting for any sort of mid-aggression to come out. Epsilon have been a fan of grabbing control of mid, but this time they're just letting it lie. Rez going to be watching the potential push in through Squeaky. Has alerted the 2 players on A to his presence. Jayzar going to be pushing on in to reinforce with Carly. Bomb still over towards A. Freddy B and Barbar watching for any aggression in mid. They throw down that wall of smokes, which can allow Barbar to make his way out once he's cleared the angle. Pop flashes through because last time Flusher was playing up close, but he will be able to grab control of mid. JW peeks on out, trying to go for the bait and switch with Dennis. Are they going to expect there to be an MDK? They don't check it. Going to get 1, going to get 2, and oh, things starting off bad here for Epsilon as Freddy unable to get the trade. Finally finds 1. Oh, the spray control. Going to be able to get himself a second as well. Flusher goes down. Freddy B does have the bomb to play around with. Bomb's going to get planted. Now Crimson Olaf in this clutch. The fire doesn't spread, so Freddy going to live to fight another day. Still boxed into the corner. Now going to take out the... Hey, going to be trying to go for the peak. Crims throwing the pop flash into the site. Him and Olaf do have a crossfire set up, but Freddy B going to isolate Crims on highway. Spots out the first player. Molotov going to go down to deny the peek in from Olaf, but he finds the first. Crims is going to force his way in through the fire and flames, though, and catches Freddy B reloading. Fnatic, they find themselves with their 14th, 1 away for a match point, but the economy on Epsilon still incredibly strong.
This is just mad. The amount of money they built up is just never going to be broken. They're continually able to buy, but the problem is they're running out of rounds to buy in. Yeah, you can buy for eternity, but the fact is, if Fnatic win 2 more, the game is done and dusted. However, their economy is still on the brink itself. They are very close to being reset, and that could give Epsilon the chance to save themselves. Obviously, this is an elimination match. One of these teams is out of the tournament. The other actually has a 3 out of 4 chance of getting to the LAN finals. And we'll go up against Hellraisers in the next round, which, well, for either of these teams, I feel like they'll go pretty confidently into that one. Either way, we are going to see aggressive push from Freddy, trying to find this first pick, and he will. Down goes 1. Olaf to trade quickly, but the rest of his team are over towards this A site at the moment. The Molotov is going to be thrown out. The push comes in, but JW will get the pick. Dennis with another one, and looking like map point may just be on the cards after such a good streak from Epsilon.
Yeah, bombs down in main. Chazar's got to try and go for this. Rez going to be sitting out watching the aggression in through Squeaky. Now, Fnatic, they are aware the bomb's over here towards A. Still in A main, and Dennis is actually going to be posted up so that he can try and go for the peak if need be. JW watching from quad, now be rotating over towards A main, looking like he might try and go for the peak here, and it might be unwarranted, but he's going to find the frag anyway. Now it's all on Jayzar, 1v4, and while Dennis in with the peak, drops him out the equation. 12 to 15, Fnatic arrive at match point, like you say, despite an initial 8-round streak from Epsilon to bring them back. Fnatic now find themselves at the finishing line.
Yeah, sometimes all it takes is a big play from a star player, and while JW has managed to do that crazy Deagle round, kick-starting Fnatic into this second half. And while now they need 1 more, then they are through to the next round. Hellraisers will await them in those semi-finals. Obviously, there's still 1 more quarter to play, but already JW starts. First kill comes in. Flusher able to get himself a second. Rez will be there to trade, at least making this still possible. But there's the flash. Flusher actually blinds himself, but it's fine. Rez goes down anyway, spotting another player, still going for more, and this time he'll be punished. 3 versus 2.
Yeah, bombs down over towards middle, but Barbar can pick it up, no problem. Crim's retreating on back. Over towards Toxic, just going to be waiting in the corner for any sort of aggression out towards B, biding his time. Now, the only issue is Carly's trapped in mid, and Olaf pushing on up, going to go aggressive towards Sandbags. Everyone on Fnatic playing these one-and-done positions. As long as Epsilon have a player to trade, they should be able to get it. But still, finding that 1 frag, putting it into a 2-on-1 would leave Epsilon at a significant advantage. And that's if they get the trade. Carly in mid, watching the aggression out through vents. 45 seconds left for them to play around with, and Bomb going to be making its way out here as well. Barbar and Carly over towards middle. That scope going to be heard by Olaf. Now they have to check Sandbags, and his head going to get spotted, but he finds the first. Barbar has the trade, but Olaf Meister says no. Fnatic arrive at 16 to 12 as they win out this series in a 2-0 fashion. Commiserations to Epsilon, and well played. GG to the side of Fnatic as they pick themselves up 16 rounds here on Cash. Their map choice, despite a very shaky start to the second half, they do manage to come right on back and finish this up 2-0.
Yeah, that will be the penultimate quarterfinal that we have, but there is still one more tomorrow coming up for you. This will actually be quite an early match, 4 p.m. CET, 3 p.m. for all of you who, like me, are from the UK, and for anywhere else, I genuinely have no idea, as I am a fool. But that game is going to be G2 versus Space Soldiers, and the exciting thing about that is obviously Space Soldiers up and coming at the moment. They've got Calyx in the team, but if G2 win, we get a G2 Envy matchup, which we haven't seen since both the rosters actually split. That was right at the beginning, so I'm really excited to see that matchup. But yeah, tomorrow, G2 versus Space Soldiers. Make sure you don't miss that. Obviously, thank you very much for tonight. It has been, this is it. It's done and dusted. Thank you to Harry as well. And if you did enjoy the cast, you can type !casters in the chat and that will lead you to our Twitters. Also, if you missed any of the games previously that we have seen, for example, the other quarterfinals like Envy versus Godsend, we've had some great games, Kingwin Space Soldiers, or even just how some of the teams actually got here. Even Fnatic Academy, which was one hell of a game if you missed it. You can check all of that out in the YouTube channel, which is below. And there's actually some other content from previous LANs, and there will be content from future LANs involving players, interviews, all that good stuff. So make sure you check that out. Either way, that is it for tonight. And I'm sure Harry would like to say goodbye to a few of you in the chat.
Yeah, guys, like we always do, me and Tom are going to say goodbye, farewell, thank you for staying around. We got Bad Game, okay, Balloon Bombs, I am Sumneon, Liang, Hawkey135, ZLNCS, Epic LOL, Vocus, Martians are here, King Munson, The Unholy Duck, Zibieth, Millstone Barn, Curry Sauce Bandit, what a name, what a fantastic name, Jason1EN, oh wait, is that, no, I don't know, yeah, I think I read that right, The Real Hype One, The Odd B, Mexican Trucker, Grim Thoughts, Kyle Beast Cod, Ascation YT, The Calypso 1000, The Alfol, Bootage, I can't read that name, Crunchy Christmas, what a fantastic name, your name is seasonal 24/7, wait, more than that, just all the time, constantly. Oh, Hackization, thank you for the continued support. It means a lot, my friend. If you did enjoy it, be sure to follow me on Twitter. Aspheric, Nightlighter, and one more, we'll say AJ Murphy 360. There we go, that'll do.